Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. It's comics news today for the 6th of September. Glad to have you all in here. I know that I'm sitting looking out a 10 a.m. in the morning window, and it's looks like nighttime. Yeah, yeah. So the rain continues, and it's weird because it's not raining yet, Thundera, but boy, isn't gonna.
Oh
My
yeah.
goodness, dude, because it's dark, dark. I mean, like twilight dark, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, we're gonna have a wet day, but that's all right. I Most of my work is inside these days. But how are you, sir?
I'm well. I have no complaints. 0 complaints for the day. It's been a good day with the wife. Beautiful weather. It's absolutely gorgeous weather here. Has been for about a week, but of course that'll change. But honestly, this part of the world, the best time of the year is late summer, early fall, and early spring. I think because it's not too hot yet, and you get all the prettiness of the seasons. So we're
Yeah,
right there,
that's
late
fair.
summer, early fall coming in. It actually feels like fall right now, which is lovely.
Mhm. My wife is mad at me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was a bad boy, I guess. You see, she was getting home from her jazzercise. So I prepared dinner to make sure, when she got home, because I don't cook a lot, for us. Usually it's just some special thing I do. I cook for myself for lunch all the time, but as far as for us, rare, right? Um,
Mhm.
but um, so I knew time she'd be home, so I had everything prepared. And she got home, and then 'cause we were having steak, right? We got some nice wagyu, and well, everything in Japan's wagyu, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, so she went, jumped in the shower after getting back for exercise. I cooked everything, and she came out, and it's on the table. And so we eating, and she's mad at me.
Yep.
Can you guess why?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because I cook steak better than she does.
I do too. I honestly think, and I know this is heresy, I think men are better cooks on average than women. I know, crazy, especially of meat. Maybe not of other things, but of meat, definitely. And that's
Well,
just in my personal experience. I would say typically uh, the husband of the situation is the meat cooker. Is just way better at it, and it's far more succulent. It's
I wonder
less
why that
likely to be
is.
burnt. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's
Just
interesting.
maybe it's just my area. I don't know, but it seems to be everybody else too. Like even other
No,
families I'd go to,
yeah,
the dad would make the meat and it would taste better.
yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, in the work environment, you definitely see more men than females. Although hopefully that is increasing because there's no reason there shouldn't be, right? But I
Yeah.
think it's just a hectic environment, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we do more research on the subject. I don't know. She's a good cook, though. I mean, when we first met, she couldn't
Yeah.
cook worth shit, but she can now.
My mom
Um,
is, or my mom. Wow, where'd that come from? My wife is incredibly good at baking.
oh,
She's actually a
nice.
really good baker. She likes to bake. She can bake just about anything. So that's nice. But I'm not. The problem is I'm not a bake guy. I don't like pastries very much or baked
Mm,
goods that much. I don't really like cake or any of that, cookies or any of that. When I'm in the mood, I do. I'll smash it. But normally, I'm not in the mood for that. I'd much rather have something savory or salty.
right.
Uh, so that's just who I am. That's how I like to eat. But she is really good at it. She'll make it and take it to work and pass it out to her tenants and stuff, or
Oh,
pass it
that's
out to
nice.
her coworkers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've told her many times that when it comes to steak in particular, it's a very different than cooking other type of meats. Because steak, you want to get whatever environment you're cooking in as hot as absolutely possible. I mean, ridiculously so. And you want to just hit that thing quickly, right?
Yeah.
And you don't cook steak very long. It's a very short process. However, it is something that you really need heat. And we only use propane here, no electric in that regard, which
Propane.
is a rule.
Which is
But
which is that? Oh, is that your rule or is it a rule of like the
Japan,
country or something?
that's Japan.
Really? You're not allowed to have electric grills?
You can. Some people have, but it's kind of
Interesting.
poo-pooed.
Now, I
Uh,
would prefer gas or charcoal for sure, but it's just
well, yeah,
interesting that exists.
barbecuing. Yeah, but as
Yeah.
far as cooking on the grill in the house, propane, right? Because barbecue in the house, of course, it doesn't work really well. But anyway, just get that thing smoking hot, and you can. I got a I have one of those little side propane things. It's its own thing, and I only use
Mhm.
it when I'm doing, walking, or because the wok fits perfectly on it, or if I'm cooking steak and I just take cast iron, put it on there, it fits fine, and just crank that sucker up, dude. And get
Yeah,
that thing way way hot. And just drop those steaks in there and just let them sit a couple of minutes each side, and boom, you're done, right? And especially when you're dealing with good quality from the beginning.
yeah.
But I've told her many times that that's how you do that, but she always just kind of turns on medium heat and just cooks the steak, and I'm like, all right,
Cooks it real slow. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I personally, lately we've been broiling our
yeah, you can
steaks,
do that too. Yeah.
and I really like it. I don't know what it is. I think it's because the top gets that nice, nice brown, whatever
Mm-hmm.
color, that nice
Mm-hmm.
char on it. Not char, but scorch, little cook. And then the bottom is still, relatively raw, basically, if you're doing a broil. So when you flip it, you get a really fast on the same thing, and the middle just stays nice and tender and juicy,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. Like, you
Yeah.
should be able to, if you make a steak correctly, you should be able to cut it with a knife with one motion. You shouldn't have, like, you see people going back and forth with a knife. If the knife's sharp, if you have a good sharp knife, good sharp
Yeah.
cutting knife, one motion, bam, right
Yeah.
through it.
Well, the Japanese beef, you don't even need a knife. Fork's fine. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
But which is pretty amazing. But no, what I do with the broiling, if I have something that's like over 3 inches, like a filet mignon, I will cook
yeah,
in the process I just said. Then I'll throw it in a preheated broiler for very short period of time,
yeah.
just to get that the pink down a little bit. But I don't know what it is. Anyway, whatever. But she she was mad at me all night. I was like, "What the hell?" But that's ladies. They get mad at you
Yeah.
about stuff like innocuous things is what you get in trouble for, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know if my wife would get mad about that. I don't think she does. I think she just appreciates good steak. Uh, yeah, I don't think she would, but it is something some ladies do,
Yeah.
indefinitely.
Yeah.
They feel challenged by it in a
Well,
way, and women don't. As much as I listen, ladies, I love you, but you don't really like to be challenged. You might like a challenge, but you don't like to be challenged. There's a
no,
difference.
that's definitely
Yeah,
true. That's definitely true. And one of the
yeah,
things I think is true about a lot of women, particularly here, but my wife is true for sure. Her hobby is being a mother. That's
yeah,
her hobby, right? And
yeah,
good on her for that. That's what she loves doing, and it's why she was a great mom. And it also translates over to being a wife, mostly in a good way. I mean, a few times she's a bit motherly with me, and I get a little stern with her. But you know what I mean.
You leave that poor lovely Japanese lady alone, you big brute.
Well, you know what I mean, dude. You know what I mean. But yeah, no.
Listen, I know nobody hearing us has ever heard Chester's. Maybe one video some time ago. I think she kind of was in it, but she is a sweetheart. I talked to her one time, I think, and she's a sweetheart. She's a complete opposite of this big grumpy bastard.
Oh, she definitely is, dude. That's why we work so well, right? Because I mean, she is this just essence of kindness. She's
Yeah,
so compassionate
I
person.
got
She's
that
so
from that
nice.
little, I don't know, 10-minute, 5-minute conversation we had. Picked that up instantly.
Yeah,
Comes
yeah,
right through. You can tell. You don't even have to see her face. You can tell she's got a happy face on. Like, people can tell that stuff. It's one thing I learned doing sales. We were talking earlier before we got on here about we both had sold cars. That's one thing you learn. People know if you're smiling on the other end of the phone. They can hear it in the
yeah,
way
yeah.
you're talking to them.
Oh yeah, she's
So,
always like that. Yeah,
yep.
and it's good. It's a good juxtaposition to the warmonger that I am. Right?
But you're
It is.
supposed to be. You're
Yeah,
supposed to be. You're the guy. You're the man. You're the
yeah,
big
that's true.
Viking.
I remember this one incident. I was performing at this big like open field festival,
Yeah.
and it's in a pretty small town, but there's still several thousand people showed up, right? So it's not this mega event, but it was it's good enough. But anyway, and a whole bunch of people from the town had come over to, because this was a different place, come over to see the event and support us, the band, right? So a lot of family and friends and things like that. And so this one lady who was she's another the other foreigner in town, right? And she's a bit older than me, and she married a Japanese artist, and anyway, she was coming in, and she was trying to step over a rope line, and she fell down, and she kind of meandered over to where we were, and we were and she kind of scraped her knee, and Junko was like, oh, oh, and she ran over to the bathroom, got towels and water, and while everyone else was looking at her like, are you okay? And I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? Right. And Junko's running around, and she gets the water and the towels, she comes back, and she helping her out, the only person who moved to help her. I was chastising her. I was like, what the hell, you're not that old. Right? But
Uh,
I mean,
I
that's
love
my
it.
wife. Yeah. No, it's good. It's a good combination. And it worked really well for the kids because they were absolutely terrified of me when they needed to be. And
Yeah,
they had nothing but love from her. So,
that's good.
yeah.
That's the way it should be. You
Yeah.
got to earn daddy's love. Got to earn that.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have an expression here in Japan. One should, it's a kotowaza or a proverb here. And it
Yeah.
says, one should fear thunder and lightning and father.
Yeah. Yes. And in my case, all of the above.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. But she's over it, of course. It's not the type of anger that lasts. But she was just miffed with me. But I've told her many times how to cook a steak. I've even demonstrated it.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
really not complicated.
no, it's
It
not.
and if you do it right, you don't really need much with it. You don't need much seasoning. You don't
No.
even necessarily need sauce. I like steak sauce still, but you don't need it. Um, you just it's just good. It's just that animal, humans, we chose well. We chose one that just is tasty when you
Yeah,
cook
yeah,
its meat right.
that's true. Well,
And
well, you need that
Chester,
charring action, right?
today I had gator,
Ooh, I've had that
alligator.
before. Tail, right?
Yeah,
Alligator tail.
I don't know what it was. It was
It's
a little
probably the tail.
fried ball of it.
Yeah,
Um, and they basically look like popcorn shrimp, but it's little chunks of gator.
yeah,
The gator meat was okay, but they put some kind of spice on it I didn't like. But the texture of it, it was just meat. Like it kind of felt like pork in my mouth. Wasn't even
yeah,
like chewy or anything. I was like, huh. I was surprised at how simple the meat itself tasted.
yeah, yeah. No, it's not bad. I've had it before. But it's usually the tail. They cook the tail.
Yeah, I
But
didn't know you were even allowed to do that. I thought I could have swore gators were endangered, but apparently not.
oh
I was
God, no, dude.
surprised.
No, we need to kill more of them. Seriously.
Listen, that's not a battle we're winning. That thing's been around a long time.
That's probably true. That is probably true. But no, I mean, I lived down in the South for quite a while. My dad's from Mobile, Alabama, right? So I'm
Yeah.
well acquainted with the alligator. So plenty of them, and we used to. We they're not so big. These are small. They're of course crocodiles much bigger than alligator anyway. But sitting sunning themselves like in the heat of the side of the river, and we would take our shirts off and we'd throw it over the head of the gator. Because this blinds them, and they kind of freeze, they paralyze, and you grab their tail and see how far you can drag them back before they start snapping at you. That was a boy coverage challenge when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So they're not so big. I mean, these are little ones. We're not talking about giant alligators. They're little ones. But still, it's just stupid boy tricks, right? The boys, stupid idiot stuff that kids get up to. But yeah, no, a lot of gators. We did have one tragedy though in my childhood. I was at junior high at like probably the poorest junior high on the planet. And I'm counting the third world. It was bad. But anyway, um, uh, we had this little pond in our kind of big field that we do all our recess and sports and field day and all that kind of stuff in, right? And I guess a pretty good sized gator. This one wasn't small. Had got in that pond and it got a hold of one of the kids, and they were able. The kid, they got him to the hospital. Didn't die there, but they ended up dying of the injuries. Within a day or two. That was pretty bad.
Mm. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Yeah, but I mean, those tragedies happen as a child. They happen, unfortunately. But yeah, gators. I have a lot of gator story experiences and stories. Once the gator was endangered, not anymore. Lady Celtic Moon says, "Well, thank you. I didn't know that." I thought they were
Yeah,
always way too
I knew it
damn.
definitely was.
I knew it way too
I knew it
damn.
definitely was.
Yeah.
I maybe I just remember that from like when I was a kid or whatever, in high school or something. But yeah, they were definitely endangered for a while. But apparently we just let them have some babies, and they're fine now.
Yeah, no, they're a very resilient animal. And I have a couple of horror stories if you're interested. Um, I went down and my dad's family is in Mobile, but there's a lot. I'm not going to go through the whole story of how my family got there, but a lot of the family ended up in Mississippi, not in Alabama. And I remember a couple times as a kid going to visit my Mississippi Busby family. Mhm. And
Yeah.
we were driving on a road that went on forever. It was a dirt road. There were wildlife everywhere as you're driving, creeping moss and all that kind of stuff. It's in a swamp, and it's off the main road, of course. And eventually we get there, and there was a whole collection of houses, right? Just these swamp houses. You have the image, you've seen them before, right? And
Mm.
just broken screens, garbage everywhere, broken this or that, and all these dirty kids running around barefoot, like a literally army of kids, right? And everybody else looks like damn hillbilly, straight out of Deliverance. I was terrified. I'm from the north. I'm a New Englander. I'm a Yankee, right? The hell you
Yeah.
bringing me to this damn place, man? But that's my Mississippi family. I'd be very careful around them. Yeah, I would be.
Mm.
If any of them listening, don't give a shit. All right, good. Okay. Anyway, let's move on and get into today's news. I have to warn you, I know Elrod's going to be mad at me. There is a lot of non-comic book news today. I do apologize. There wasn't much to talk about. I have no interest in promoting what Marvel or DC are doing right now. And indie stuff, we kind of covered a few of the things we are interested in, and there's nothing new right now, other than, of course, anybody in our community that's doing a book. We'd love to have you coming in, and we do have a few that are going to come in soon, which is good. But just as a warning, that there's a lot of non-comic book stuff today. But oh well, it is what
Oh
it
well.
is. I am starting out with comic books though. Well, manga anyway. You ready?
Let's see what we got.
Alrighty, here
Bup,
we
bup,
go.
bup, bup. Oh yes, I saw this. I saw this lovely just. I don't even like the One Piece. One Piece manga editor has a strong sense series is near its conclusion with the end in sight. All that remains is to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Now the reason why this bugs me isn't because of this. It's because you have Netflix out here.
Yeah. If you give me a second, I'll roll you into it.
Oh boy, we'll get there. We'll
Yeah,
get there. But
have some faith in me. Yeah.
One Piece needs to end. I think everybody can agree. I think probably even Oda, the guy who writes the damn thing and draws it, could probably agree that it needs to end. It's been going on for 20 plus years. It's time to let them drift, let them sail away, right?
Right.
There's other manga that are more successful now, even than it ever was at its peak. He can, easily step back and the industry will be fine. Because he was carrying it for a minute there, because Bleach was done and Naruto was done, and he was kind of the guy for a while. And now others have stepped up and are doing, insane numbers in some cases.
Well,
that's good for the industry. And I think One Piece, personally, I don't read it and I don't watch the anime or everything, largely just because I don't like the art style at all. I just don't. It's not for me. It's not bad. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Yeah.
And it's just too much. It's so huge that they're trying to get into it, in the later half of it. It's just too much of a commitment. I'm sorry, I'm not going to make it. But that being said, I do watch occasionally. I'll watch guys who review it. There's a couple guys on YouTube or whatever that do reviews of the chapters and of the anime, and they're just entertaining in general. But they also talk about it, and it is interesting how much insane detail and depth this guy has put into this 20-year story that he's been writing and drawing. It's comic books, American comic books could never touch that. Never. I don't care what anybody says. The world this dude has built off of nonsense mostly is immense. Immense.
Well, it is impressive, and the 100th volume,
Yes.
not issue, volume, is coming out. This article is coming out of the editor, actually, not the writer.
Yeah.
Iwasaki is kind of giving an interview, and basically, it looks like finally they're going to wrap it up and put an end to it. So here in Japan, the manga is ending. I agree with everything you said in that regard. Well, one of the I never cared for One Piece myself. I don't like the art, but I have to admit the manga art is way, way, way better than the anime. The anime is kind of
I
pitiful,
think so too.
and
I think so too.
but nevertheless, it is an interesting world because it's basically as with most Japanese things, it's taking a lot from Western ideas and Western mythologies and Western things and mixing them with some Japanese things. You can see in these pictures you got samurai alongside Western, pirates and stuff. Here you have a yokai just
Yep.
mixed in with other stuff. It's weird because this is very Japanese, even though the story is a Western story, right? But nevertheless, the point is, okay, fine. It's coming to an end, and good. The Japanese do like to wrap things up, so
Yeah.
it's good that he's doing that. However, the real reason I put this up was, good on you. They've had a very successful run, and congratulations. But of course, this is really what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. 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 This is what's got the blood running.
Yeah.
Showrunner for Netflix's live action One Piece adaptation equates hero Monkey D. Luffy to Kamala Harris, slave owning aristocrat St. Carlos, I think is how you pronounce that, to Donald Trump.
Yeah. Now, what this article is going to do for you is going to show very, very clearly that this live action adaptation is going to be absolute shit show.
Yeah.
And what's new, right? Anytime they try to take a manga or anime and turn it into live action, what happens? It's shit every damn time. And the Japanese are sick of it. I'm telling you, they're sick of it. They anytime a live action adaptation comes out, they automatically turn their back on it. That's how
Good.
bad it is, right? And this idiot here is equating because people in this series who have a D middle name, which I guess Kamala does, tend to be very powerful and influential. Okay,
Yes.
so there's his comparison. Nice, yeah, uh-huh. Has anyone seen her? Has anyone seen her?
I
Anywhere?
have no idea what she's been
Anywhere?
doing the last few months.
Anywhere?
She occasionally she'll pop up and give like a 30-second "How you doing?" and then she just shuffles off
Gone,
again.
right? And I still don't understand why they chose her. Because there's plenty of other ladies they could have chose. Why was it her? What?
I,
Because she's no one likes her. Even her own party doesn't like her. She had the lowest votes of any Democrat that was trying to get into the presidency or stuff. Why her? I mean,
I
seriously.
don't know. I really don't have an answer for it. I don't think they have an answer for it. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they have a concrete answer for it. She's just horrifically unlikable. Just horrifically unlikable. Not even. I'm not even talking about politics aside. She's not a likable person. If you were around her in a personal manner
Yeah,
of
she's
any
creepy.
kind, you would hate it. You would hate every second of it. She's a weirdo. She cackles like an evil witch. She looks like every single female movie villain ever done that has like a political narrative to it.
Yeah.
She literally looks. It's like they're just screwing with us, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I definitely had this theory, and I think you had it as well, and many people have, that they know right well that Biden is down, and but they have a bunch of crap they
Yep.
wanted to do, and they want to be able to take and blame it all on him, and then turn it over to her. But the problem you have with that is she is affiliated to him.
Yep.
So it's like if we want to get rid of Biden because of his dementia and his failures, well, we want to get rid of his entire crew, not just him, right?
Yes.
So I don't understand that thinking whatsoever, and I find it ironic because you come down here and you take St. Carlos from the series and him comparing him to Trump somehow. It's not like Trump is a slave owner or anything like that. However, her ancestors were in Haiti.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
exactly.
and this shows you how unaware this guy is to make that comparison because that's one of the big stains on her. Her family were full on slave owners and traders in Haiti. That's her family. And she's not
Yep.
even black, she's an Indian lady. Right?
Yep.
I mean, I suppose she's got a little black in her, but I love how these people who clearly are not African want to take African ancestry. What is that all about?
Uh, in liberal circles, that equates to power,
Does it?
and it's been that way. Oh yeah, it's been that way for a long time.
They
I mean,
seem
why
to
do you
have like
think?
zero respect for black people, dude.
Well, that's the rub. Why do you think Elizabeth Warren pretends to be an Indian? Like, there's a reason for
It's
this.
true.
It's
Well,
because she can get material benefits from it.
now she went and took material benefits from it, and that's the problem. The
Yeah.
up the front side of it, I don't mind because most of my life I figured I had Indian in me. I mean, shit, both of my families have been in America since the 17th century. You would imagine there's some Indian in there, right? And
Yeah.
maybe even a little black, a little Haitian or a slave in there, but nope. Not a drop of it. I was really surprised. So her assuming that she had a little Indian in her because her family had said so. I don't begrudge her that at all. Most Americans do. You do, right? But her taking benefit from it, now that's an issue. That's the issue, right? But you know what I mean, because most American white people do have some Indian in them. It's not
Yeah.
abnormal.
It's
Yeah,
it's pretty. It's more common than people think.
yeah.
But no, I do. I absolutely do, and I don't have enough to qualify for anything.
No, you
But
don't need to.
my mother probably did, but she never did anything. She never went for that. Uh, yeah, it's pretty widespread. A lot of people, if you get like a proper DNA test, I wouldn't go with some of these companies where you got to mail things off and stuff. No, go to a lab and just have it
Yeah.
done.
Well, one of the
And
things. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm saying one of the things that threw me off was I had a great grandmother was 100 and something, literally. And she was clearly Indian. I mean, Native American, right? Clearly, right? And she was very high end of it too, into Cherokee, I think it was. So I just assumed, well, it's my great grandma. But I didn't know that was his second wife, right?
Yeah.
So all my family that I come from were from a first wife, which was just a Norwegian lady. But yeah, so that threw me off. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say. I think it's silly more than anything, though, that you have people pretending to be Native American, pretending to be Indian, American Indian,
Mm-hmm.
when most of them don't give a shit
No,
about what you're doing
no.
or about any of this stuff that that the leftists pretend that there's a huge outcry from the tribes. Most of the tribes don't care. You know what the tribes are doing? They're making money.
Money,
That's what they're doing.
money.
Money.
I remember when I was a high school kid, they were building the casino on the I can't remember which tribe it was, but whatever, one of the New England tribes, and starts with a P. Someone can help me on the chat if they want. But anyway, and they, of course, because it's a tribe thing, everyone who has the right amount of blood from that tribe can get a percentage of the cut. Awesome, right?
Yeah.
Well, all my black friends were trying to get in on that. So, it goes both ways, right? It goes
Of
both
course.
ways. Yeah.
And then you have a whole bunch of white people who are simply just not. They have so much, the term white guilt or shame for things they had nothing to do with, which is hilarious to me. That they're literally not even, that you're not even allowed to say you're proud to be white. Whereas every other group not only says these things, but does so openly, has merchandise that says it, gets tattoos about it. But you, as a white person, that's forbidden in polite society.
Well, maybe you should stop calling yourself white. Maybe you should start calling yourself Celtic.
I will
Nordic,
always
Germanic,
call myself white. The reason I will always call myself white is because that is the weapon they use to attack me with.
Oh, I see.
So I will own it.
the problem you have with that is the Arabs are white, the Persians are white,
Yeah,
the Indians are white,
correct.
the Slavs are
Well,
white.
I'd say the Indians are their own race. To be honest,
No, well,
they're
I get your point, but
they're,
technically they are Caucasian.
they're Caucasoids. Yes.
Right. It's interesting, what's white and what's not white. But
Hmm.
I understand exactly what you mean because it's become stupid. But then
Yeah.
again, people are stupid. And I'm just wondering, how do you think you're going to win this battle when what 70% of America is this so-called white?
Well, not anymore. We've lost a lot in the last 20 years of ground
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the average white American man, is 50 years old.
Yeah, but
We stopped having kids.
you've lost 20% is what you've lost because it used
Yeah.
to be 90% white. Now it's 70% white.
Yeah.
So it's still a vast majority of your country are white people. So how are you going to win that exactly? Hmm.
They're patient.
Yeah, yeah,
They're a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
patient lot.
Rape them out. That's how you do that. Anyway, this
Right.
is stupid, of course. And this person's like, I could put everything's political. Everything's political. Yeah, okay. No one's going to watch your stupid ass movie, dude. Good on you. Congratulations. And I next, I guess, but
Yeah.
freaking
No,
Netflix,
I won't be
dude.
watching that.
No,
No,
there's
no.
a lot of crap I'm not watching, dude. I'm not even
Bro,
bothering
Netflix
anymore.
has become an utter shit show.
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
bad.
you couldn't give it to me for free and have me watch it. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Just
Yeah.
see ya. Bye.
Yeah, no, Netflix has just lost its damn mind, and there's a lot of nonsense going on right now, of course, and I'm not watching any of it. Now this is funny. I get a kick out of this. You're gonna love this too.
John Cena responds kindly to Dave Bautista's lack of interest in starring in movies alongside him or Dwayne The Rock. Just call him The Rock. Johnson.
Yeah.
Listen, he
Um,
stopped going by Dwayne Johnson in his movies a long time ago. Everybody calls him The Rock. It's cool. It's a way better name than Dwayne. So just call him The Rock. Just stop it. Just
yeah, no,
everybody
no
knows who
problem.
you're talking about. There's no confusion when you call him The Rock.
That's true. That's true. Now this article is great because it almost as if Cena dropped back into a promo. Is what it feels like. No, seriously, it feels like he did, and he owns Batista so badly here because we end up at the end of the article, you see Dave Batista's response, and he looks like an absolute dick. Right, so John wins this promo for damn sure. Let me just read the promo because that's what it feels like to me. Um, Basically, they were doing an interview, and Batista said they asked him if he was looking forward to starring with The Rock or Cena in a movie, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good." Right? And he said he's more interested in playing more varied characters than the usual action hero. And of course, everything he's done is action hero so far. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's he's delusional, right? I just prefer not to be lumped in. He added, nothing personal. Okay, but everything he's done is an action hero, right? But
Yeah.
anyway, Cena's response because they ask him what he thinks about this response from Batista not wanting to work with him or The Rock. He says, "Yeah, man, I'm super sad about that because Dave Bautista is an unbelievably gifted actor. He's done some amazing work. But I think when someone makes a statement like that, I think the important thing is to try and look at things from their perspective. Dave has worked so hard on his craft, and he is so dedicated to his characters and really wants to pour forth a body of work that gives his own identity. I 100% understand that. Dave is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and one of the most generous guys you'll ever meet," he added. "I don't have any beef with Dave, and I really genuinely think Dave doesn't have any beef with me. He really just wants to be identified and recognized for his work." Right? Perfect, right? Perfect, perfect. He's
Yeah.
playing babyface, right? Exactly what he should be doing. However, when asked if Johnson was a great actor, talk about The Rock to Batista, he said he did note he has something special, but overall, fuck no. All right, so okay, all right, okay, Batista. But he goes on and he says, uh, uh, where do you say here? Batista will show us what kind of actor he is in the next Dune coming out in October. John Cena, in the meantime, yada yada yada. No, where was that statement? He said something else. No, I guess it was just the fuck no. So basically, he's doesn't want to work with these guys because he doesn't think they're actors. He's an actor. Here
He's
it
an
is. I'm sorry.
actor.
Those
And-
guys are wrestlers who became movie stars, he said to the Tampa Bay Times in 2019. I'm something else. I was a wrestler. Now I'm an actor. Oh, Dave.
Such a pompous ass.
Oh, Dave.
Look, I bet Batista's probably chill and probably would be fine. You wouldn't have any problem hanging out with him, right?
He's a
But
meathead.
my
Yeah.
God, is he a pompous ass sometimes? And he is, exactly. That's exactly what he is. He has very low intelligence. He just does. It's obvious he does. You can watch him talk when he's not got a script in his hand. He's not a smart guy. He's not a stupid guy, but he's not somebody brilliant or anything. But for some reason, because he has incredible genetics and was gifted with the body of a god that he's worked very hard on, no question. And the fact that he's made connections and is a fairly charismatic dude, he's one of these guys who, unlike Cena, thinks his shit don't stink.
And he has the right politics, right?
Yeah.
He always pipes up when he's supposed to, where The Rock does not. And Cena does when it's appropriate or when he feels like he's forced to. With that thing with the Mandarin stuff, which I was pretty good on him. His Mandarin is horrible. I mean, it's horrible, but he speaks a lot more Mandarin than pretty much anyone else on the planet, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. But I mean, Batista, man. That is a promo, wasn't it? Didn't it feel like one?
Yeah.
It felt like a babyface promo. And he owned.
Well, yeah, that's
Batista.
what he is. That's what Cena does. Cena
it's
is
his thing, right?
extremely good at diplomatic promos. But then what he's also good at is during them, he'll find a way to undercut you.
He did. He did undercut.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Look, I don't like John Cena. We went over it. I have a very deep disdain for Mr. Cena, and that'll never change unless maybe if I meet him in person, we talk face to face. Other than that, it probably will never change. However, the man knows how to talk.
Oh yeah.
He can talk his way out of just about anything or into just about anything clearly. And this is an example. So this is why Cena's an intelligent man. He is. He clearly is.
Oh yeah.
Batista's not.
Yeah.
He's just not.
Why would too?
Why, as an actor, would you? Yeah, The Rock's very smart. Why would you not want to work with The Rock? He's a huge star.
Mega.
That's like being a wrestler and being like, "Listen, I don't want to work with Steve Austin." Right now, Austin did that with Hulk Hogan back in the day,
but he was
and he
probably
regrets
right
it.
though.
He probably was, but it would have been huge money, right? Big money.
He was busted up pretty bad at that time, right?
Yeah. Well, and they had two totally different styles. It just wouldn't have. See, The Rock is a showman like Hogan. They're much more showy, much more flashy, whereas Austin was much more roughneck in your face, flipping you off, kicking you in the head. A much more hard-nosed style. It just wouldn't have. I don't think it.
Yeah, no, I agree with his decision on that. Stupid Newfie says you got that backwards. Initially, he was billed as The Rock, but recently they've been trying to bill him as Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now, they have been trying to push the Dwayne Johnson more. That is true.
Yep.
He's trying to. I don't know if he's doing it or his agents. I don't know, but they are trying to distance himself from The Rock.
Regardless of the timeline, they shouldn't. It's stupid.
Yeah, everyone
just
knows he's
embrace
The Rock.
who you are. Yeah. And move on. It'd be like John Cena being like, "Listen, my real name is John Adams. Just call me John Adams." No, why would you do that? Everybody knows you as John Cena.
That's right. Yeah.
I think his real name is John Cena. I'm just making a point.
Yeah, no, and but I just thought this was just so disconnected and delusional from Batista. I mean, you're not an actor, dude. You're an interesting character that doesn't say much, and you're just there because you have an incredible physique. You've spent a lifetime developing. Good on you for that. And you know how to be quiet. You're good at that.
And he does have a little bit of comedic timing. Him as Drax was funny. He was good as that. But that doesn't mean he's, he ain't going to be winning any Oscars. He might be one day. Maybe he'll develop the skill enough and he'll get it. But right now, he's not getting any. At least he shouldn't be getting any Oscars in a sane world where that actually used to matter. He's not getting any Oscars.
Yeah, no. But I just thought it was funny. Going to move on from this, but it's just completely misunderstanding the not feeling the room, right?
Yeah.
This one is wonderful.
Pop star Olivia Rodrigo faces backlash after revealing she grew up thinking being a pop star was a white girl. What? She looks
No,
pretty white to me. A
this
white
is
girl thing.
this is another example of this generation being completely out of touch. We talk about Simu Liu, right?
Yeah.
And him completely being out of touch. It's hard for us to believe that it's not complete bullshit on his part, but it might be because
Yeah.
this girl seems to be completely out of touch. First of all, you are a white girl. Knock it
Yeah.
off.
I mean, look at her.
Knock it off. But of course, the year she was born, all the top 10 stars were not white, right?
Yeah.
And even Gad Sad gets in on this and starts rocking on this girl. Of all people, you dumbass girl, you're so dumb. But where is it? Because everyone's getting it. Gad Sad says, "So true, Olivia. Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Aretha Franklin, Donna Summers, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, James
We're
Brown,
all white
and hundreds of other
girls.
legendary black singers were all white girls. Get him, Gad.
Yeah.
Get him."
I remember. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
James Brown's fantastic white girl moves that he had. He was known for them. In fact, that's what he was known for. Yeah.
And Gad continues, says, "Dear Olivia, I never liked the Jackson 5s because I did not want to support a pop group made up of 5 white girls. Same with those Supremes." Get him, Gad.
Oh
Get him,
my
Gad.
god.
But I mean, everybody's just dogpiling on this girl, and of course she deserves it because it's stupid. You are a white girl. Knock it off.
Yeah.
All you Latinos thinking you're not white, you are white. You are.
Well, some of them are very dark brown white, but
This
yes.
is a Spanish girl. This
Yes,
is a Spanish girl. She's not a Mexican.
Right. Correct, exactly.
She's not
See,
a
that's the
Mexican.
problem. In America, and I actually remember back in the day, there was an episode of Saved by the Bell of all shows about this, where in America, we do sometimes have this problem, but it isn't coming usually from us, like conservatives, it's coming from the liberals, of blending all these people together as if they're the same thing, like Latinos and Chicanos and Mestizos. Those aren't the same thing, really. They have the same heritage, but they're not the same thing.
No, they're
and this lady here is obviously what you would describe in, like, if you were doing a census, as a white Hispanic, meaning she is white, but of Hispanic descent.
Yeah, no. She's the Spanish richer trader, merchant,
Yes.
some kind of something like that came in after the fact. No, she's not. She's not a Mexican because Mexicans are certainly something different. They are a mixed race, right?
Yes.
But anyway, the funny thing also about the idiocy of this girl, she seems to believe it. She was also involved, which is that she was, because I don't even know who this girl is, dude. But she worked with the White House to push the COVID-19 vaccine on kids. Says she never knew a pop star, so it was during that interview, I guess. So she's pushing kids getting the vaccine. Wonderful. With old Biden, she's up there with Biden. I bet she sniffed that. You better sniff that, old man. Jesus. She's skinny as hell, ain't got no tits, but that's all right though. That's okay. That's all right. We Wonder Bra was created for something. But she's cute enough. I mean, she's not a bad looking girl. But it's just this. The reason I bring it up is, because who cares? It's just another dumb girl. But it's just this generation. These kids, born in the '90s, I guess, born in the '80s, born in the late '80s, '90s. These kids, they seem to be completely out of touch with reality, right?
Yeah.
Because how are you going to make a statement like that thinking only white girls when you've probably never seen a white girl star? Who's been a white girl pop star since you've been alive? Who was that fat British girl?
Adele.
Yeah, that one?
And by the way, Adele, fantastic singer. But
no, I've heard her. She is pretty good. But I'm just saying,
I don't know. Like, yeah, honestly, since she's been alive, Britney Spears. I mean, there've been a couple, but she was probably real young when they were.
Britney was famous. She was the baby when Britney came out for damn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was super young. I can't. Last 5-10 years, Billie Eilish, I guess she's white. Other than that, there's not been like huge stars in that regard that are white girls.
They're mainly all
black. Unless I'm just not thinking any.
No, in
Yeah,
the
and
pop
it's
category,
specifically
it's
pop.
mainly
Yeah,
blacks, a few
yeah.
Latinos
Or
in the pop category.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Like,
yeah,
this is one of those things that I was saying. They do these things for clout. This is clout chasing. She knows that this is something she's supposed to say. Oh, I feel so represented now that I've
oh,
been able to. It's all nonsense.
they
It's all nonsense.
they say she's Filipino American. Really?
Oh, so the Mexicans of the Pacific. I got you. Okay,
Huh?
I believe. I believe that.
She don't look it. I've met a lot of Filipinos in my life. They all kind of do all the cleaning and shit, right?
Oh,
Um, uh, but she don't look like no
God.
Filipino dude. But whatever. Joshua says Chester's top 10 sniff recommendations for Biden. Whatever. But whatever. A dumbass girl, and of course, I'm just connecting it to this other idiot. He says, "Me laughing at people who thought we'd flop." Okay, generic little office clip there, for Office Man. So I guess
Wait,
he's
wait
gonna.
a minute, buddy. You're way ahead of your curve here. What did it make? 80 million, something like that. Good week,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
bad.
yeah. No,
Give it a week.
I
Give it,
set that up too. I'm always
give it a
prepared.
week.
It's made 90 million,
Oh,
and it's
good.
what 5 6 days, whatever it's been up,
Yeah, not bad.
and not bad, I guess. But when you think about it, they're depending on the deal they have, it's going to be 10 to 30% of that is going to the theaters, right? So let's even go with the low. I think it's probably higher with this movie. Star Wars would be closer to the 10%.
Yeah.
But let's just take the 10%. So you basically made 80 million so far. It's
Mhm.
probably not going to make too much more.
No,
Fair enough. If that was a normal indie film, people would be jumping up down all excited. But the problem is, this movie costs $150 million to make. You
yeah,
double that for commercialism, which is the way you do that. So this is a $300 million cost.
yes.
Yeah, this is a flop there,
And
Mister
you're only at
Genius.
146 million worldwide after the first weekend.
And they're not.
They'll
You don't get much of
probably
that.
get total 240 million, 250
Maybe,
million will be the
maybe.
total. That's not a success. That's a
No,
flop,
and
especially
most.
for the MCU. That's a
Yeah,
flop.
yeah, and most of the international money, they don't get anyway. That's a much lower
Correct.
percentage. But yeah, this movie is definitely losing money. Without question, it's going to lose money. On the back end, other ways they make money off of merchandising. The World Class Bullshitters had a video the other day where they were looking at other things, but the rack is just full of his things. No one's buying his stuff,
Oof.
right? So I mean, this is definitely losing money. It's better than a lot of people thought it was going to do. So good on you. You made what? You made 20 million more than they thought. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
But this dumbass, this absolute dumbass. You keep saying stupid shit, delusion shit, just like that little girl, and then you come out here and mock your fans. You mock them,
of
right?
course.
This is how you go. You're right. Simu, you're never going to be special. You're never going to be loved. Your career is done. You dumbass. Well, I mean,
I
how
like that.
stupid. Can you
I like
imagine
that.
Clint Eastwood doing something like this, or Barbara
No.
Streisand, or any of those? I'm showing my age here. Let's we can update that to I
Now
don't know,
I could. I could see them
Ryan
doing
Reynolds.
stuff like that now. But back in the day, absolutely. And it's just delusional. So we're going to pretend that making less than $100 million in your first weekend, after people have been waiting to go see a big movie for a year, is a success. That's a success now. That's successful
Yeah.
for an MCU movie, the largest franchise in movie history, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's what success looks like now. That's
Well,
terrible.
yeah, and this guy is just a smug, arrogant shithead. That's what he is.
Yep.
He's just smug, entitled little brat. Just like this stupid little girl, right? Right here. Just smug brat, right? I don't even know if she can sing. I mean, pop music in America, they usually can sing somewhat. So I'm assuming she can sing some. But it's just for me, it's another dumbass like that. Who was that stupid girl that was fucking Justin Bieber there? What was her name?
Uh, crap.
little teeny, Latino girl like her.
Selena Gomez. Selena
Selena
Gomez.
Gomez, right? There's another dumbass girl. She could sing a little bit, but
Yeah.
it all went right to her head. Her music changed from this innocent little cute stuff into just talking about getting fucked on a regular basis. Her music is disgusting. If you ever listen to it, she shows up to Aretha Franklin's freaking funeral in a little fuck me dress. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, why didn't someone pull her aside and just punch her in the ear? I mean, what the hell? I mean, seriously. But a lot of these little stars, they're so entitled. It's just insane to me. Um, let's see here. Stupid Newfie says Spain gets off the hook for all the imperial shit for the beautiful women that come out of their former colonies. Fair enough, stupid. Because I love that name. Because yeah, there is some hottie Spanish girls, dude. The real hottie. Now the Mexican girls, not so much, but the Spanish girls, woo, dude. I mean, watch out, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. They get off of all that imperial, all that death, and all that murder and rape. Yeah, we will forgive all of that for a few hot chicks, stupid. So rock on.
Apparently,
Could you hear the sarcasm? Could you hear that sarcasm? Was it coming out?
yes.
Okay, good.
Apparently, the record for the highest grossing non-American R-rated film of all time was just set earlier this year by a Chinese movie that I had never even heard of.
Really? Say that
Yep.
again. Say that whole sentence again.
Highest grossing non-American R-rated film of all time
Huh.
was this Detective Chinatown 3, $686 million.
R-rated Chinese movie. It's like barely R-rated. They're
Yeah.
pretty strict about that stuff, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the highest single territory gross of all time. In opening weekend, it made 440 million.
Must have
Or
some
400
side boob in
400.
it. Is it
But
Hong
I was
Kong
looking
or
at this
China
list.
though?
It says China. I was looking at this list of biggest openings of all time. Okay, because I was trying to see how good they did. Okay, they did actually. When you look at this list, they did fairly decent. 145 million. Let's see.
Yeah,
let's
it's not
just
bad.
give you some examples. Frozen 2, the second Frozen movie, did 130 million in 2019. The original Suicide Squad did 133 million. Jurassic World, the second one, did 148 million. The Spider-Man 3 from back in the day did 151 million. So they're not that bad. It's not a full-on total flop, but here's why it's going to flop. We said this right away. It did good in its first weekend, no question. It better than most people thought it would. It's not going to in its second. I guarantee you're going to see one of the, if not the largest drops in the history of cinema from this movie, because the reviews are not good, and even people who I know who've seen it said it was meh.
Yeah,
It's a big
Black
meh.
Panther. Yeah. But that's not even the problem. The problem is how much money they spent on it. If they went and made just a martial art movie, which is what they started out with, it probably would have been a cheap movie, and they would maybe even make money off of this. But no, they went and spent $150 million, and that's just what they're admitting. They never give you the full cost, right? And we always double for doing the commercial stuff. So you're looking at a minimum $300 million cost to Marvel Studios. It's not going to make money. If they had, made something much simpler and probably would have been a lot better, then this would have been good. But that's not what they do. They need to make that $1 billion. They need hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in order for these things to be successful. So Marvel is kind of hurting, and Chapek is just drooling, I think, because all of these failures, because that's what they are, financial failures for the shareholders, are just giving him more and more power, right?
Yep.
And this is just another example, and that's why he let it out here to hang. That's why he did. He knew this was going to lose money, and in the end, it is going to lose money.
That movie that I was telling you about, that Detective Chinatown, has Tony Jaa in it. He's not the lead. There's two guys. I don't know, some Chinese guys. I don't never heard of them.
That's got to be a Hong Kong movie, dude. It's got to be.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it probably is. But I mean, they own Hong Kong now, so Everything's China
Yeah, but
now.
you know what I mean, though. The Hong Kong will
Wanda
definitely put
Pictures.
out some R-rated stuff. The Chinese, because the CCP owns everything in China, right? They will not allow such things, right? The depravity of the population is not allowed, right?
Who's Wanda Pictures? Anyway, that's completely off the topic.
It
But
is.
this movie
It is.
here, I think, is a. I hope I'm wrong. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm very rarely am on these things, but I hope I am. I hope it does has a great second weekend, pulls in another 100 million or whatever worldwide. That'd be great. I don't want the MCU to fail.
No.
I just know it's going to as it pushes more and more agenda, because everything that does that fails in the end. We've seen it 1,000 different cases of it in the last decade, and every single one of them is either worse off or dying because of it, or
Yeah.
dead because of it.
Although I think I would really enjoy bitch slapping this asshole into tears, though.
And Chester, you could even do it in his own language.
I don't even think he speaks Chinese, does he? I think he's
I
just
would.
an
I think
American
so.
dude.
Oh, he
I
might be.
don't
He
think
might
so.
be.
Because
But you
think
could.
of
How much could you really get him though? You come up to him speaking Mandarin, he doesn't even know what you're saying.
That's right, yeah. And the thing is, his first thing that gave him fame. No, was that him or Aquafina? I can't remember. No, I think it was him. That was in this Korean show, and he's not Korean, is he? I don't know. I have no clue what he is, but this guy is insufferable, dude. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on here. Now, this is completely unrelated to comic books, but and I really had this in here for Booster, to be honest with you, but he's sleeping. But go ahead and
Yeah.
read the title.
Evil Hat Productions attempts combative marketing for new TTRPG Thirsty Sword Lesbians by declaring, if you don't like our politics, don't buy our games.
All right.
Okay, deal.
Now, this would have been better if this had come out, and I would have put this in my board game place because this is
Mm.
a tabletop gaming company. Now, here's the thing: these guys came out years and years and years ago with the Fate Core system. I even put up a thing here. Now, any of you who know tabletop role playing know that this was one of the big hits that came out. And matter of fact, today, if you find any game, people are either running the D20 system, from WotC, the D&D stuff, some kind of World of Darkness system, or the Fate system. Most games are that's what you're looking at. And there's a few other ones to be sure, but those three are the big boys. And a lot of games are played under. And Fate itself was created intentionally so you could play any genre you wanted, anything you wanted. It's a little bit wonky, but once you play it a few times, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It is a bit wonky though, because it's leaning more toward the role playing than it is with dice rolling. And you have to, but if you do it right, you can actually have a lot of dice rolling fun. But it is a different system, and I'm not going to knock it because I had played it enough that I actually, if you do it right, you can enjoy it quite a bit. However,
Yeah.
this is Evil Hat Production, right? And they came up with another game, for instance, I own and I really loved is the Dresden Files board game. You ever read the Dresden Files or the comic or see the TV show or anything like that?
Uh, yes, I saw the TV show,
Yeah.
and I really liked the premise so much so that I kind of stole it from my book in a way.
Hmm.
I like that idea. I like the idea of a wizard who's kind of like a PI
Yeah.
or even like a cop. I think that makes sense for a wizard because
Yeah,
that's
the
kind of what
Urban
they're supposed
Arcana
to do.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. And and it was fun. There's a role playing game that came out for Dresden. I think it uses some of the Fate Core stuff, if not all of it. However, so back then, I didn't hear any noise from Evil Hat whatsoever. It was just they're being successful, they're making money, and they have made a lot of money. And then all of a sudden they start putting out these posts years back, right? About their opinion on stuff. And they kept putting more and more posts. And I was like, why I didn't ask you for an opinion. You're a tabletop production company. Why you just out of nowhere giving me political opinions? But it got worse and worse and worse and worse. They of course completely they were hired to do a Lovecraft Cthulhu game, right?
Yeah.
With their Fate Core, and they did, but they had to put a disclaimer in there how horrible Lovecraft is and horrible, and we were really, really not happy to do this work. which we got paid a lot of money for, right? They did that. I'm not joking. They did that,
Uh-huh.
right? It's in the book, right? But they just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse over the past few years. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? Just make product, dude. Right. And of course, now we have this thing. And basically, this is all about queer, lesbian role playing. And if you're not gay and you're not queer, then fuck off. And they say it a lot. It's not just one statement, it's a lot of statements. Even in the Kickstarter, they were going on about, fuck off. Right. And this is what the game is, Joy, in this great. Right. Um, and they just go on and on and on. This April Kit Walsh, who's is got her pronouns there, and I'm pretty sure it's a transgender. Kind of looks like one. And just going on. If you have to fix your heart if you want to play this game. If you can't fix your heart, then go away. We don't want you playing our game. It's great marketing, by the way. But this is where this for me is a legendary fall because Evil Hat started out like gangbusters, dude. I mean, that fake core system took over the damn role playing world, dude. I mean, in ridiculous levels of success. The Dresden Files stuff I enjoy, but that was more of a modicum success compared. But look how far they've fallen, dude. To the point that they're literally making a game for only gay people to play, which make up what 3% of the population, and telling everyone else to go to hell. That's where they are. It's crazy.
Yeah, of course. Because there's a unwritten rule in the universe. Anything that is not sufficiently right wing will become left wing over time. Because that's what these people do. They're parasites. They glom in, and slither their way in through whatever opening you leave them. Because most of us want to actually be inclusive, and hey, yeah, so let's play a game. Cool. And when you do that, these people are never satisfied. They're never happy, and they get in there and they make changes, and they demand changes, or else you're some sort of evil, some sort of evil being. That's what these people do, and they do it at corporations, and they do it in all sorts of entertainment and media. And I think you're starting to see now. I know you're starting to see now. In fact, a lot of people are waking up to that reality of that. There's like snakes. There's certain danger signs to look for, and when you see them, just go away. Just separate from it, because these people never, ever, 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 ever are satisfied. Ever.
No,
there is no good enough, no matter how much you do, no matter how many concessions you make, no matter how many ways you facilitate them, they will still not be happy, and they will still demand more and more, because it's not about that, it's about power. They want power over what you're doing. They want to control it because they're selfish, narcissistic psychopaths who don't really feel human emotion. They just express human emotion. And they're not capable of understanding how their own actions are everything that they claim to be against.
No, and it's very true. And you can see here this list, which I'm going to read. No fascists or bigots allowed. Now, by putting up a list of things you have to be, it's quite fascist thing to do. I don't.
Yes, you're making lists. Wait, why is there a list?
to play thirsty sword lesbian. I'm sure there's a dildo joke in there somewhere. You must support racial liberty, racial liberation. What does that mean?
They don't know.
Intersectional feminism. Once again, what does that mean? And queer liberation. Being queer itself is liberating, is it not? Respect transgender people. Why? Aren't I supposed to judge by the individual? What? Non-binary people. Once again, what is that? Intersex people. That is a genetic anomaly. And women. Well, these groups up here hate women, so
Yes.
you're confused. Respect racialized people. What is a racialized person?
Me, maybe? I don't know.
I know,
I'm a mutt.
I'm racialized. I'm pretty sure Jeff Potts is definitely racialized. Without
I would
question.
assume everybody is some form of the human race. I don't know.
I think so. Roger needs some racial liberation, I think. Yeah. Respect black, indigenous, mixed race people, and other people of color. Well,
that's right, Chester. You respect me, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, everyone is technically mixed race.
Oh, damn it. I thought I was special.
Yeah.
I'm special, damn it. How dare
Respect
you?
sex workers. No,
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 you shan't be doing that. You
no.
shan't be doing any of that. They're whores. Fuck
They're
them.
whores. That's
That's
the
what they're
that's the
for, in
point.
fact.
That's the whole point. Yeah. Wait, what are you talking about? Respect disabled people. Well, technically, I do have Erb's palsy, so I am
Yeah.
technically disabled. Do you respect
Yes,
me?
I agree. You're disabled,
I am
Chester.
definitely. Yeah. Respect immigrants. Why?
Why? What did
For
they
what
ever do for me?
reason?
No.
Uh, re-
Listen, respect is not something you just give. You don't just hand this out. This is a reciprocal exchange, and if they're not giving, I'm not giving either. Screw them.
Yeah, right, dude. And Jeff says, I'm not racialized. I think I hit a nerve. Let's see here. Respect lesbians and other people with queer sexualities. Why? Once again, why? Why should I respect the lesbian? Especially
What did
seeing
they
it's
do?
all homosexuality. You use a lot of words when you could just use one homosexual, right?
Oh no,
Because all
because
those
then they're
things
not
are
unique.
homosexual, right?
See,
Uh,
they need to be unique.
I
Snowflakes, Chester, or
suppose that's
I
the
don't know.
reason why they're called snowflakes. You're right. And let's be fair. In a free world, you're allowed to do those things. Fair enough. However, it's one of the most selfish lifestyles you can take. Right? I'm not going to get into what the Christians might think or any of the other signing issues that might be discussed in it. Just the simple
Yeah.
fact, if you're a homosexual, you are selfish. You're not doing your genetic duty. Plain and simple. Done. Right? So why should I respect you? Respect people experiencing poverty or homeless. Why? 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 Respect. What in the hell? Neurodivergent people. You are freaking neurodivergent. That's for damn sure. Such as those of autism spectrum. No, they are perfect jokes for retard. That's the whole point of the joke. Anyway, that's actually the nicest thing they've said here so far. Respect fat people. No,
No,
no.
absolutely. Listen, as a fat person, I will tell you, it is literally detrimental to us for you to show us respect as a fat person. You can show us respect as some other type of person, like a person,
Mhm.
but not as a fat person.
No,
The
not
fat
as.
is
That's
the
the
problem.
point. As a fat
Yeah,
person. No,
get the fat out of here. You need to
right.
get it out of here. You need to lose the weight like I've been doing. Get yourselves in better shape. You don't have to get yourself. You don't have to be a model, but get yourself in a shape, in a healthiness, in a fitness, in a
Yep.
weight where you're comfortable, happy, and your body isn't trying to kill itself.
Yeah,
All right,
and
that's all
the
you got
thing
to
is,
do.
even if you don't, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
not the point. Why should we respect that?
exactly.
Certainly, if you have a failing in your life, we don't need to point it out. However, you should try to improve yourself. That's kind of the journey that we're all
Yeah,
on here. And of course, I'm being sarcastic here, but understand the respect is the problem with these phrases here, because no, well, why should I
correct,
respect anything? I can
correct.
acknowledge, I cannot be a dick, right?
Courtesy,
But
manners, politeness. That is
yeah,
not the same as respect.
of course you're
Respect
on
is
the
way more.
autism spectrum, Jeff. I'm not shocked at all.
Chester probably is too. Let's be fair.
uh, not demand that anyone educate you about their marginalization. I don't need any education from you, dumbass.
Yeah.
I've got you in spades, bitch.
How many degrees you want? Just whipping them out like cards.
Well, right? I mean, right? As far as the educated thing, I got your ass, dude. I've got your ass. Uh,
not only will I not be playing their game, I have no desire to even attempt to learn from these people because, well, they're just the worst. They're just
it is.
awful.
It's so
Yeah.
ridiculous, dude. If you don't agree, fix your heart before sharing a table with other people. If you do agree, this is great. But you're struggling with self-loathing over any aspect of your identity, that's understandable. We're taught to hate ourselves in so many ways. Come on in and let's celebrate the existence and joys of people like us. Well, that little thing, come on in and let's celebrate the existence and joy of people like us. That should have been the only thing you said, right?
Yeah.
Because I have no trouble with this game existing. None at all. enjoy, have fun. But how about this? How about, say things like that and promote togetherness and hey, we got a great game, come and play it. Even if you play it ironically, thank you for spending money on our game, right? But no,
Yeah.
they're literally telling all of you who are not that 3% to fuck off. And that is the worst marketing I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's pretty dumb. I don't know who. I genuinely don't know. This is something I don't know. Where this idea of combative marketing came from as something successful, I have yet to see it succeed. We've been doing this a while. We've seen a bunch of different versions of this multiple times throughout the years, and I have yet to see any of those succeed because of it. If they did, it was in spite of it. Right? Either people didn't know about it, or there are people who just don't really give a shit what their opinion is. And so it succeeded anyway. But every time I've seen this where people do catch on, they are just, well, then fuck you. Like, I'm not, go F yourself, man. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah. And Jeff says, Chester, I demand. I say, educate me about your marginalization, whatever that means. Well,
I
dude,
insist.
I live in a place where I literally make up 1% of 1% of 1% of the population. Who's marginalized? Yeah. I guarantee you, I understand the being outside of reality and being outside the norm a lot better than these people do because they have hug boxes galore, right? Anyway, idiots. This is interesting.
Marvel writer Al Ewing will no longer work with Joe Bennett after artist draws pro. I don't know, how do you say his name?
Jair
Bolsonaro.
Bolsonaro.
It's I know his last name is Bolsonaro. Artwork. I just never understood how you pronounce that first name. Is it Hair? Because it's a J.
It might
I think it's Yair.
Right. It's Portuguese, so hair. Yeah.
Yeah. But Bolsonaro artwork, that's hilarious to me because Bolsonaro is kind of the Brazilian Trump, even though he's not really. They market him like that.
Yeah.
And he does say some outlandish things sometimes, but I would much rather have a politician in control who says things that are uncouth because then I know that most likely I'm getting what he's selling me, right? I'm getting what I pay for here.
More importantly, he came in kicking ass of all the corruption. That's
Yes.
really what the same thing Trump was trying to do.
And in fairness, Brazil is actually one of the few countries set up for the future right now.
Yeah,
the future that's coming. They're in a good spot right now. They're a very upcoming country. They're one of the richest countries now. They're in a good spot, and they could actually matter as a country on the world stage here, be the first one from South America to do it in the next 10, 20 years if things keep going in a decent way, from what I understand. Now, obviously, I'm not Brazilian, but
I hope they.
And he's a big reason for that.
Yeah,
Bolsonaro. So do I.
Yeah, and here's the thing too about Brazil. I know we don't know much about that, but to give you a good understanding of how far they have come, because a lot of people I think that Brazil is just this dirty third world country, and it certainly has aspects of that, but it's definitely improved. Go take a look at the Carnival. Just go on YouTube, find a video on Carnival the past 5 years, and it will shock you because where America left off on our Macy's Day Parade, our Rose Day Parade, Rose Bowl Parade, sorry, and we used to have these amazing things, and we just kind of lost our way. Those guys are doing some of the most amazing parade floats and technical stuff I've ever seen. I've literally seen them having a guy standing on a bunch of drones flying around the parade field. I shit you not.
That's awesome.
Right? It is insane what they're doing. So they're not what you think they are. But
Brazilian ladies, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know what they're putting in the water in Brazil, but some of the women coming out of Brazil, holy.
Oh yeah.
Woo, boy!
Although I have noticed
not just pretty,
because my wife and I watch it every year. We watch it every year because it's amazing. But I have to say, in recent years, I've seen a lot more ladies, the Brazilian ladies, putting those damn ass implants in. Though I can't stand that shit, dude.
Man, I don't know, man. There's some out there that are definitely real.
Oh yeah, no, there are, and they're gorgeous
in Brazil.
But you can always tell, especially when they're dancing. because it doesn't go the right direction. However, back to Al Ewing, who I suppose I'm not supposed to like. I don't really know. But here's the thing: he's just so put off by this piece of art. Let me show it off right here. That this guy did a few years back, and it happened before, and he didn't know it, and that he saw it. He made a comment, and instead of realizing that this is showing this Brazilian leader, and Joe Bennett clearly is Brazilian, clearly,
Yeah.
right? And he's pro, someone cleaning up the mess. What he's arguing about is thinking these are representations of Jews or
Of course, yeah.
dehumanizing people, but what he's representing here are these corrupt government people who are stealing from the people, right?
Yes.
And that's what he's depicting here, and showing them as rats because they're just scurrying for the dark, right?
I think it's far more hilarious the fact that when people see a character with a long nose, they immediately assume Jew. Mm-hmm. That these people with this same all the people like lefties and even supposed right wingers who always somehow end up siding with lefties, whenever they see something like that, it's immediately in their mind, you must be talking about Jewish people because nobody else. Yeah. Nobody else on the planet of Earth has a large nose, Chester. That can't possibly be.
Nobody else. And I guarantee you, each one of these faces here are people that are known. They're political people in Brazil. Yes. I guarantee it. We just don't know, right? And Ewing doesn't know either. And he goes on this rant and he says a whole bunch of dumb stuff. He clearly has no clue what he's talking about whatsoever. And he, in the end, refuses to work with this guy because he's some kind of racist. But it's like, and he went and even donated to the Rainbow Railroad and the Rainbow Rainforest Trust to try and make amends for being associated with him. You are an idiot, Al Ewing, an absolute freaking idiot. Because you don't know what you're talking about. This is something political amongst the Brazilians. Get your freaking nose out of it, dumbass. But this guy, I don't know who this Al Ewing is, but screw Al Ewing. That's what I know.
Well, that's really all you need to know. You don't know who Al Ewing is. And guess what? You never will. Because he's another one of these modern comics pros who think that they're all Stan Lee and their voice matters. I'm gonna burst some bubbles. Yeah. It don't. Simple as that. There's only one Stan the Man, and unfortunately he's passed. But him and a few others, a small little handful group, have had voices that matter. Modern comics people, your voice doesn't matter because you're speaking to an audience of none, practically.
Yeah. And this if this was Donald Trump on a horse cutting the heads off Nancy Pelosi, Schiff and all those other assholes, you'd get it. We'd get it, right? Yeah. It's a bit rough, but then again, it's a different culture than our culture, right?
Well, and it's obviously supposed to be exaggerated, right? Like, I don't think he thinks Bolsonaro is going to come in on a white flaming horse with a light sword and start chopping off the heads of his enemies. Maybe he's that awesome, but I don't think so.
Yeah, and Al Ewing clearly doesn't understand the absolute tragedy that has happened in Brazil over the past couple of decades, and the near bankruptcy of that country. He clearly hasn't been paying any attention to any of it, and that's fine. He doesn't have to. But before going make a comment, maybe see what exactly is this guy is praising him for. Why is this happening? Because the level of corruption in Brazil is epic, dude. I mean, epic.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy is coming in kicking ass is what he's doing. And hi, Booster.
Hey, how you doing? Since you guys don't know who Al Ewing is, I thought I'd just come in and say that supposedly the Immortal Hulk run is supposed to be very good by Al Ewing, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this has also been the book that has had quite a few little SJW moments, if you want to talk about that, right? This is the one where a black woman decides she's going to lecture Hulk on how Bruce Banner gets to be angry and it's rewarded, but everyone else's rage is ignored because, Bruce Banner's a white man and what have you.
Rewarded.
And all that kind of shit. Yeah.
Turns into a giant green A giant
exactly.
green murder monster that he can't control and has done untold amounts of damage to innocent people that he feels terrible for, wishes he could die over, and tries to kill himself over.
One of the
but
biggest
can't.
tragedies, right? Yeah. I put a gun in my head. The green guy spat it out, right?
That's a great line, yeah.
Yeah, it is a great line. But I mean, once again,
it's supposed to be a very good run, but the thing is, though, this Joe Bennett guy has been doing this run with Al Ewing for 50 issues now, I think, and he was talking about how this artwork had been uncovered about 3 years ago. So he was all good working with this guy until then, apparently.
and
Fuck
and
you, Al
yeah.
Ewing.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He doesn't understand the context whatsoever, right? You know, I understand maybe some little offhand knee-jerk reaction, sure, but he just went on a rant, dude. And he burned that bridge. So, you know, you're not going to work with him even if you wanted to, dude. So
Here's the thing that I
He's
find.
probably making sure that the guy doesn't work in comics again.
Well, he'll be over. He'll be with one of our people on our side eventually. Then.
yeah, not a bad
Here's
artist.
the
He's
thing.
pretty good.
No, that's actually I wouldn't. Heck, he could draw the character from my book. That's pretty much him. He could. But my problem is, or what I was going to say is, the big problem is these people, these snakes, right? He was just looking for a reason to stab this guy in the back because he obviously talked to him. He's talked to him multiple times, has a way to talk to him directly and in private about it, and he could have just asked him, "What's up with this, man? You know, this guy's really offensive or whatever, blah blah blah. Do you still believe this, or was this supposed to be a representation of Jewish people or whatever nonsense he's upset about, allegedly?" And I'm sure the answer would have been, "No, I wasn't representing Jewish people here," and no, it's not that I really like him. It's that I like the idea of what he represented.
And I'm
he
sure
represented
each one
somebody
of these
coming in.
has a name.
Yeah, he represented
Sure
somebody
they do.
coming in and cleaning house.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, and in fairness, I think we all, but obviously this is a much greater extent, we all would agree that Kathy Griffin's nonsense where she held up a fake severed head of Donald Trump was way over the line. I think this is probably over the line, in my opinion, unless you're actually full on, like, let's go do this, well then okay. If you're at the point where you think violence is an option, then there is no line at that point. But I personally would agree that you probably shouldn't make depictions of your political enemies' heads getting chopped off. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
no, I understand.
that's a little far.
I get that, but all fair. I don't. Kathy Griffin is allowed to do what she did.
Sure.
Yeah, whether I like
Doesn't
it or not.
mean she's not a piece of shit for doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. Jeff Foss makes a really good point about the Evil Hat game I was talking about. He says, no doubt, the game starts with 20 minutes of debating over whether pansexuality is inherently anti-queer. You're probably right, Jeff. Probably right. That's true. Anyway, I knew Booster would like it. I knew it. Okay.
Is Jeff Foss secretly Al Ewing? What's going on here? What is this?
Speaking of
Jeff
the
Foss
gay,
angry.
Oh
no!
Go ahead, Booster.
Oh yes.
Oh, Cobra Kai, and he's all that, Oh, that's fingers in. Okay, Tanner Baka.
Buchanan. Yes.
Buchanan.
Yeah, Buchanan.
No, that's not how you pronounce that.
That is how you pronounce that. Yeah.
What the fuck is a Buchanan? Is that a bird? What is that? Well, whatever. Fucking Tanner McBarkenfarken is interested in playing a bisexual Robin because he wants to kiss boys. Next article.
Right. Now the reason I put this in here because I thought it was kind of interesting. We know that they're making Superboy gay. We know that Robin has been made gay, or at least one of the Robins has been made gay, and he very much wants to play the gay Robin. He's made it very vocally open, and he's done things like this before. And if you read the article, he's from the Midwest. And when he, a very conservative place, he said, and when he came out to California, his eyes were opened. I think what you have here with Mr. Buchanan is a gay boy living in the Midwest, not able to express himself, going to California, and he's gaying the hell out of it. I think that's what this is.
There is nowhere in the Midwest you're not allowed. You can't be gay.
No, of course.
Believe me, I wish there were because I'd live there. But there is nowhere in the Midwest where it's taboo to be gay any longer that I know of, and I live right in the damn heart of it.
But it's not
So that if
celebrated.
that's what he's saying,
It's
yes,
not-
it is. It's
is it?
celebrated in fucking Walmart stores, bro. What are
Is
you
it?
talking about? They have
Alright.
pride shit in Walmart stores.
Well, I
Whole
haven't
big
been there in a
displays
while,
of it.
so.
Absolutely, it is. This is bullshit. He's spewing bullshit. Fuck him and fuck all the shows he's on. Because if he's gonna be that dishonest, I got no time for him. I'm from the Midwest. I can guarantee you, no one gives a shit if you're gay at all. They don't care. I wish they did. Believe me, I'm much further right on that issue than anybody here besides the Muslims. But this is a lie. He's lying and he's telling lies because he knows, like we said earlier, it scores him points. You see, he can shit on those backwards Midwesterners, right? We're all backwards and hillbillies and dumb and fat and stupid. We don't like gay people. But when he gets over to LA and he needs to be pretty in front of the cameras, then my eyes have opened and I've been enlightened by the glorious global liberalism. Oh, get out of here, you fucking F-word.
That's interesting. He was more subtle about it
You
than that,
F-word.
but you're right.
You F-word and you N-word.
Well, that's interesting.
You're not even an N-word. I'm going to call you an N-word.
Fair enough. But when I was younger, the Midwest certainly would have been more, conservative, and they wouldn't have been praising homosexuality. I don't think they were, anti-sexuality, homosexuality, but it wouldn't certainly be praised. It's interesting.
There's a very simple rule in the Midwest. Keep it to yourself. Mind your business.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
As long as you aren't in somebody's face with anything, nobody gives a crap what you're doing. Especially where I'm from, this part of the Midwest specifically, we typically stay out of each other's business. As long as if you don't make it my problem, I won't make it yours. Simple as that. That is a very simple way that we all pretty much agree to live. It's one of the reasons why I think Midwestern culture, Midwestern values, when it's predominant in America and like super culture, America's doing better overall in all ways because we start minding our business and we get to work.
Yeah, which is a good thing. All right, so he's full of shit. I didn't know that. Yeah, because being gay is kind of boring now, isn't it?
And nobody cares.
Passe.
Crying out loud, literally nobody cares. I wouldn't care if you didn't have a whole bunch of gay dudes dancing around in front of kids and dressing up as women, some sort of demon woman, and reading kids' stories like this is normal and acceptable behavior. Otherwise, I don't care if you are a dude who wants to suck another dude's penis. That's your business. As long as you don't make it my business, I don't care. But they want to make it my business, so now I'm like, all right, Muslims are right. Screw you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's clearly a gay kid.
Taliban forever!
Right, that's right.
Got me fired up now, Chester. You got me fired up.
Unspeak is promoted and funded by the Taliban.
Yeah, no. That check was from ISIS. Get it right.
Oh, yeah. Right. Come on.
What? You joined the wrong extremist group. I like the Taliban.
Oh, fair enough. Cobra. I guess the Cobra Kai in their second season, there was some supporting female character that had a girlfriend out of nowhere at a party scene, so they did have some gayness in it. Fair enough.
ISIS is so 2011.
That's true. That is true. And besides, Obama is their supporter. He's their.
Here's the other problem. Aside from his stupid, ridiculous, regressive comment, he's not a good actor. He's actually a terrible actor. He's bad, and I'm sorry to say, he's the worst part of that show besides LaRusso's daughter. They just have no chemistry at all together, and the only time he has chemistry is when he's with the guy who plays his dad. That's the only time. Any other time, he is the worst person in the scene besides when he's with that one girl.
Yeah.
He's not a good actor. He's a tiny little manlet of a thing. He's like 5'5" at best. Like, there's nothing about this dude that screams to me Hollywood star. He's not going anywhere. He'll make a couple B-rated, whatever, maybe some small shows like Cobra Kai, and then he'll fade off into nothing.
But he's willing to play the gay character, so he's trying to get work, is what he's trying to do. But I didn't watch a lot of that Cobra Kai. My wife did.
I love Cobra Kai. Me and Brewster both do. Really like it. It's a good show. It's better than it deserves to be. But him and the one actress are by far the worst part about it.
Well, that's kind of the thing I was saying is when I was watching it, when my wife was watching it, the older actors seem to be doing a much, much better job than the younger ones.
Yes, they do.
I'm sorry,
by and large,
trying to say something?
I was just mocking. Was it David Larusso's? I don't know. Whatever the daughter's name is in her fat fucking face.
Yeah. She's very frumpy, Chester. Very frumpy girl.
Oh, I saw her. She wasn't very good at it either.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
There are some there is a couple chicks on there who are pretty good. I like Danny's wife. I think she's awesome. I think they did a great job with her whole arc. Yeah, from the first season, they kind of play her into like almost a nag, and then the second season they totally fix that, and she's one of the best characters by the end of it. They did a great job with her character arc. It makes sense. It's not just a radical change just to do a radical change. They made it make sense, and that's
Does she
really
cheat
good.
on him with the bully?
No.
Well,
No, actually, there hasn't been, aside from a very little bit, there hasn't been any, like, of the parental figures romance drama. None of that. They're just happily married for the most part. There's a couple little tips, but for the most part, especially the second season, they're just happily married, trying to work through the problems that they have, as far as, like, outside of their marriage. And she's supportive, and she has her husband's back, and her daughter's back, her family's back. And that's something that is rare, at least from the shows I've seen, in females on these TV shows. And she's not an idiot, and her husband's not an idiot. They're both competent adults. It's refreshing to see, actually, in a TV show.
The funny thing I've always found, especially in modern times, but you can go back and see this. One, as you're making allusions to, the fact that the women betray their men instantly. Right?
Yeah.
But other than that, what I've noticed is if you're looking at any movie or TV show and someone is doing something stupid that's causing trouble, it's always the woman.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know.
But it's true. It is. Yep. It's always some woman that's doing just an inane, stupid thing that's causing the problem. You would think that would be anti-feminist, but we see it all the time.
She's powerful, Chester. She's so powerful she can screw everything up. No, I think honestly, Chester, I think if you sat down and watched it, even if like with your wife watched through it, you'd probably like it. It's not like groundbreaking television, but it's way better written than it deserves to be.
It's competent.
Yes, it's extremely competent. And I appreciate that because it's an IP that has no business being this competent, except for the first movie. Other than that, it was meh at best. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate that show, but going back to Mr. Buchanan, he is definitely the weak link. Him and the other girl, they're the two weak links in the chain. It's a shame they have such prominent roles because I would love for them to be recast because then the show would be better. In all honesty.
Miguel's one of my favorites. He's definitely the best child actor as well. I really like
Miguel. He's the best of the young guys.
And by the way, he was cast as Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. That is such good casting.
It is.
Oh yeah. You talk about the first boy we run into, right?
Yeah.
That he takes up and teaches. Yeah, okay.
That Johnny takes up, yeah. No, he's a good actor. You believe him. There's no like, oh, that seemed like a bad take. There's none of that from him. He's very, again, the word of the day for that show is competent. It's a competent show.
Which is
way too, it's overly competent for what its premise is, but yet somehow it works wonders.
Well, so I probably did see every episode. It's just my wife. I wasn't, because I work a lot, and the reason why I put the computer in this room because this is the room that we spend a lot of our time in, or my wife does, and therefore I put the computer here because when I'm working, I like to be near her because we can occasionally chat or something like that. But I work a lot, so she'll watch something on Netflix or whatever. She's watching some show. It's just on next to me. But I just like to be in the room with her because I'm busy anyway. If I went into one of the other rooms, I'd hardly see her, So it's this is kind of the situation with me. So I did probably see every episode. I just really didn't pay attention much. Although I did think it was interesting when I saw the Okinawan guy come in. The lady is still smoking.
Still smoking. Beautiful. I don't know what you guys are putting in the water in Japan, but whew.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, they don't age until they do. When a woman gets around like her 80s, age just comes on.
They just shrink and they become like a cartoon stereotype.
Yeah. But until then, they keep their beauty for an extremely long time. I mean, my wife's 52. She looks as good as any 30-year-old American, right?
Yeah. No, the brief second we saw her when you were streaming at the thing a couple years ago. Yeah, she's a very pretty lady. Especially considering the way most American women look now. Holy crap! Woo! It's a bad time. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. Especially I was at that fair today. Woo, boy!
Yeah, and
boy, did White screw up.
Well, there's not a lot of fitness going on over there for one. And two, they just I don't know why they think it's a good thing, but they just wear way too much makeup. I mean, my wife puts on the subtlest touch of makeup. What?
I do plenty of fitness.
You're not a female.
There's pizza in my mouth.
Okay, fair enough. Something's in your mouth, that's for sure. Anyway, well, that's what we got for today. Interesting bit of conversation. Not a lot of comic book stuff. Kind of comic book related day. But lots of idiots. Lots of idiots. And I don't know what it is about that generation. What do we call that generation? What is
Gen
that
Z.
generation? Is it
generation?
The late 20s, early 30s? Aren't they like millennials?
Well, late 20s, yeah. Early to mid 20s are now Gen Z.
Right. Yeah. And so we had a mix of Gen Z and millennial there, but they're just delusional, Booster. You're one of them.
I'm a millennial. I'm just on the very edge of a millennial.
So what's wrong with you?
You want me to get out my list, or
yeah?
Booster's old bag of excuses.
Chester, I'm going to tell you the truth of it. What's wrong with most of us? Because I'm the millennial too, technically. I'm right at the edge of millennial the other way. What's wrong with most of us is we had shitty parents.
Oh. Yeah.
Gen Xers did not make for good parents.
I had silent.
You listening, Dad?
I'm a Gen Xer. I'm a great parent.
Yeah, but you're abnormal. You're basically an autist who might be a sociopath, probably is, and have a really cute, lovely drop of golden sun for a Japanese wife.
Why?
And for some reason, you channeled that in a positive manner. I don't know how you did it.
Why all these epithets?
You should be murdering. You should be fucking
good. Booster.
Like, honestly, you should be like this fucking Hannibal Lecter-esque villain known as the yokai in your village or some shit, but...
I would never kill in my village. I would go to a northern city.
There's plenty of... There's a lot of Japanese. He could get away with it up there.
Yeah. No. You don't shit in your own bed, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too easy to catch you then. If you sit right outside your house, what are you doing?
Yeah, you don't know. I would say the world's probably lucky I'm not a serial killer. I'd go for years.
He's like, listen, I've thought about it. You haven't thought of the smell, Booster.
Thought of the smell, you bitch.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Keep in mind, tomorrow, I guess we're doing something.
Easily Gen Xers get offended. Look at them in the chat. Gen Xers are so fucking easy to offend because they're so used to going, us Gen Xers are tough. We had 80s movies. Yeah, whatever, you fucking grandpas.
Eric's not happy with you. My kids think I'm awesome. I agree. A lot of the troubles we're having is coming out of the baby boomers, which translated down to Gen Xers, which is translated into everything else. I agree.
It's trickled down economics.
It is.
It literally is.
Trickled down.
You see, what happened was
economics. Yeah.
We won the war, but we lost the peace because all the really masculine men died in the war. Yeah. So we had a lot of what would have been considered. We had less so of the masculine men, and society shifted towards more feminine. And since then,
well, to be fair, it was the '60s, and that whole idea of women thinking they won something, which they didn't win shit. All of that is really what's caused this debacle. And I don't know how it's going to straighten itself, but time does straighten things. It takes time.
You're a historian, for crying out loud. You know exactly how this gets righted.
Yes, I'm trying to be positive. Thank you, Thunder.
Take you on, Eric. I will take you on.
It usually ends badly. That's true.
Yes.
It's shocking.
Good boy. He knows I love him.
there's a book, is it Spencer? I can't remember who wrote it, but there's a book out called The Fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
I would suggest you read it, because what this book is talking mainly about is the social collapse of Rome, more
Hmm.
than the economic or socio or the political aspects of the German. Well, anyway, but it's shocking how similar 2000, well, not 2000, but 1500 years ago was to right now,
Yep.
because they were having problems with overt homosexuality, transgenderism, all those things. Same things we have trouble right now was happening in Rome. It's
Yeah.
shocking. It's shocking. It's a good book. I suggest you read it because you will. It will. It's kind of like reading an Ayn Rand book, and you realize now that
I gotta go real quick. Okay, bye. I
Jesus.
love you. Mwah.
Oh God, the
Fabulous.
siege called.
Be-
Um,
yeah,
but
because
yeah.
Chester, as Miss Rand once famously wrote about, eventually Atlas shrugs, and there's only so much weight you can put on the back of old Atlas before he's had enough.
That's
And
true.
Atlas is the common man, by the
Yeah.
way. That's the analogy, because that's
Yeah,
what
no, I
holds
get
up
it.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, eventually the commoner, the guy that the people at the top, the Ivy League bastards like yourself look down on.
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually we just have enough, and we're the ones who handle your food. And that's it. Society collapses because there's a shift in the power structure when those people that are in the middle that keep the bottom from falling off and keep the top from falling over, they realize, hey, wait a minute, I don't have to put up with this,
Yeah.
and they shrug.
Well,
And that's it.
That's why I have a food taster. Yeah.
A dog. Is that what
Yeah. So anyway, we got to jump out of here. I got to get going. I got to get to work. I got a lot to do. However, well, I'm sure we're doing something tomorrow. Just stop in. We definitely are doing Zelda this week on Drone and Quartered Ultimate Edition, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Thursday. Definitely come back for that. And of course, we'll be back next week to talk about all the nonsense and silly ass people, because it's fun to laugh at. I had a laugh. Did you chuckle?
Oh, of course. You have to laugh. You must always laugh. It is the absolute antidote to tyranny. Laugh in their
Absolutely.
face.
Yeah, that's right. So take us out of here, dude.
I have one very simple sentence. Wisdom comes in threes, knowing when to push, when to pull, and when to pause. Have a good night.
That works in sex too.
Yeah,
Namaste.
it works in everything.